I want you to change the world, and don't think that this is going to happen peacefully or you can do it alone. We need to kill the rich, okay? We need to get out there, use your weapons, and rip Washington apart.
Good morning, everyone. It's 4/22, or April 22nd, 2018. I'm Eric. I'm here at DC Clothesline. Monsters Among Us, MS-13, behead and cut out man's heart. Salvadorian torture kills elderly veteran. Did I say it came out of the Fellowship of the Minds? I don't know, but it did. These are the monsters that our government let in, who are protected and shielded by sanctuary cities and states. Doesn't look like too much of a threat, does he? But don't let looks fool you. Just because he's skinny and young doesn't mean shit. So these things happened in November of 2017. MS-13 El Salvadorian gang members lured an unidentified Maryland man to a park on the outskirts of Washington, D.C. They stabbed the man 100 times, decapitated him, cut out his heart, and then threw his body into the grave they dug for him. 19-year-old Miguel Lopez, some shit I can't pronounce, was arrested and charged with murder. And here's the other ones. They're not so young, though. Stacy and Jose Mendoza. Las Vegas Review-Journal reports that on April 5th, 2018, Stacy Mendoza Joseph, or Jose Mendoza rather, tortured 70-year-old military veteran Kenneth Coyle, a retired contractor for Naval Air Station Lemoore, to get him to reveal his bank account details and passwords. Well, wasn't that nice? Naval Air Station Lemoore is in California's in California's King and Fresno counties. Mendoza restrained the elderly man on a bed in his house in the small city of Hanford near the Naval Air Station. They beat him to get access to his financial information, then strangled him to death. Coyle died of blunt force trauma and suffocation. Now, I'm sure these people are behind bars, but how many more out there are like them? How many more of these people that's been allowed to come over the border? And look, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't much care for other cultures, but I don't really care for borders either, because a border indicates a government. So I'm not going to advocate for statism and say this. What my main point in this video is that the state isn't there to protect you. The police are not there to protect you. And this is a great example of how they don't. I mean, they deliberately allow murderers, rapists, and so on into this country. I wonder what their objective is in doing that. Could it be exactly this? Having these people around to kill random Americans? I mean, now this isn't the first time this has happened. I mean, this has happened a lot. So much so that you can't really catch it all. It'd be impossible, but I suppose you could just type in MS-13 into your search engine there, and I imagine a whole library of articles will come up regarding the mayhem and death that these guys have caused. I mean, here's the thing. We like to see ourselves as a civilized nation, but we have allowed uncivilized people to infiltrate our society, and therefore we can no longer claim that we are a civilized nation, because we're not. We're not a civilized nation. We are a nation of leaders who are just as criminal as the people on the street. The people that they love to put behind bars. Just as criminal. And this is an example of just how criminal some of these politicians are. I mean, again, these people deliberately shelter and provide sanctuary to these individuals. And then they're going to, during election cycle, they're going to talk about just how your interest is their top priority. I mean, Democrats like to appeal to black folks, right? But how are they going to do that now? They've deliberately brought in a competing race. Deliberately. I mean, how can black people rationally vote for Democrats anymore? I can't tell. But it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter who you get, right? The same shit happens, same foreign policy, more or less the same domestic policy. I mean, we do have Jeff Sessions trying to interfere with the state's right to manage its own affairs and judicial system by interfering in the cannabis laws. Of course, I think Donald Trump is seriously opposed to him doing that, and which is a good thing. Now, I won't sit here and pretend that Donald Trump hasn't tried to do some good things, and Donald Trump hasn't done some good things. I'm just not a statist. I don't believe in leadership, forced leadership anyway. A leader should inspire you to follow them willingly. But unfortunately, you're not just following Donald Trump when you're following him. You're following the entirety of the U.S. government and all of its laws. You're not only following that individual. And that's a big problem. That individual may very well want all these things for this nation, but the unfortunate thing is that individual, Donald Trump, Barack Obama, and so on, aren't actually in control of anything. So how can they bring about this change that they've all talked about? The New World Order is at least 10 years behind schedule. At least. They have failed to conquer those countries that Wesley Clark, former General Wesley Clark, talked about. They're way, way, way behind schedule on that. So, I think probably they've gotten pretty fucking desperate now. Especially if a lot of these people want to see it in their lifetime. You know, like Mr. New World Order himself, George Bush Sr. I mean, anyway. Now, what do you suppose is going to happen when these psychopaths eventually deliberately cause blackouts or some other shit that I'm not thinking of? Maybe a bioweapons attack, or who knows? Who do you suppose they're going to use to carry out such operations? I mean, you can't really use the military for doing stuff like that. I mean, I suppose they can, but you gotta find that person willing to do that to Americans. Maybe that's the whole point of the litmus test, right? To keep those kind of people around and send everybody else overseas to Afghanistan and so on. Maybe that's it. But nonetheless, when one of these events creates a domino effect, for example, a crash, a financial collapse, where the EBT cards are shut down, credit cards, all of it. What kind of threat are these people going to be to the average Joe? Do you think that maybe they're going to be a bigger threat to you than your fellow American law enforcement officer? Or do you believe that the law enforcement people will be more dangerous? In a way, I think that will be the latter, because they'll still have that long-established mind control over people. You know, I'm a cop, even though the state's diminished all around you. You no longer have the full backing of the state, because the full backing of the state is no longer there. It's coming. One of these things is going to happen. And the more of these things that can potentially happen, the more likely it is that one of them will. I saw an article, I think it was yesterday, about a fault line that was more dangerous than the San Andreas, I believe it is, where scientists are concerned. These motherfuckers are always concerned about something, but, you know, it could be a thing. And that's the problem, is we don't know exactly, we don't have all the data. We don't know which of these threats are real. And what I mean by threats is like, for example, Yellowstone, or the fault lines, or other volcanoes. We don't know, and neither do the scientists, really. They don't know if Yellowstone or when it's going to go off. They have no fucking idea. When they start tripping out and having drills and really concentrating efforts into their reaction to an eruption, you have to wonder how far off an eruption of Yellowstone is. I mean, Yellowstone erupts. That's it. That's it for a lot of people. And a lot of people will die instantaneously. I mean, again, they don't know when it's going to erupt. They might be able to give you a few hours warning, but you're going to be stuck in fucking traffic. Which, you know, will be completely counterproductive to trying to get the fuck out of there. If you have ATVs, you might be able to do some cross-country escaping. But if you're in a car, you're going to be stuck in traffic trying to get the fuck out of there when it does happen. I think it'll happen in my lifetime. It sure seems to be progressing towards that point. We have a giant crack on the coast of the Arctic. I mean, it's giant. It's huge. When that thing finally breaks off, falls into the ocean, it will cause massive amounts of damage and flooding and death. And I venture to say, they base that map we see about the flooding on a event similar to, if not that event itself. Of course, I'll edit this video and I'll make sure I throw that map in here so you see what I'm talking about. I mean, there's so much shit that is being thrown in our direction right now. It is unbelievable. I recently read something and saw a video about the name of the event escapes me, but it was a space event where a massive amount of radiation was hurled at the Earth from an exploding star or something like that. And supposedly it ripped off a chunk of our atmosphere. And in November of 2018, I believe it was, or is, we have a second wave of that explosion coming, you know, the ripple effect. And supposedly we're going to get hit directly by this radiation, and supposedly it's going to tear away a third of our atmosphere. Is the person right, or the people, are they right? Well, we have We have just a little bit of time to see if they're right. I don't know. All I can do is tell you about it. And this is what I do every day. I get on the internet, I find things that are either going on or have the potential to happen, and I discuss them with you to bring them to your attention. So, and again, as dangerous as people like this are, you have defense against them. You can fight them back. You can even kill them, and probably have a decent chance of getting away with killing said person. So it makes them a lot less dangerous still than police, FBI, and the like. Those people are still the most dangerous and biggest threat to you, to your freedom, to the procurement of your property. And until the state ceases to exist, they will continue to be your biggest threat. I mean, seriously, if this kid came into my house, tried to home invade, I would kill him. And I'd probably use a knife to do it. Yeah, like I said the other day, I am still strong enough in my old age. I can still lift 300 pounds if I want to. I don't want to, but I can. So I still have quite a bit of strength left in me. Anyway, that is the bottom line. These people are a threat to you, undoubtedly. But the military-industrial complex, politicians, the bankers, the prison-industrial complex, law enforcement, they remain a bigger threat to you and your property and your family than Yellowstone, than a solar event, than a giant earthquake, than anything Mother Nature can throw at us. Anyway, thought I'd have this chat with you. Wasn't trying to make any kind of formal video here, but I thought it was a pretty good chat. I'm trying to get back into my schedule of throwing out 4 of these a day. I don't know if I'll actually get there every day, but I'll try. Morning, afternoon, so on. I try to knock a lot of them out in the morning, but as lazy as I've been sleeping in beyond 5 a.m. to 5:45 or something, my fucking slacky ass not getting up on time. I'm only human, though. Hope everyone has a great day. Remember, kill the state before the state kills you.